Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. For those that are new to our chambers, we currently have our mayor is out with a sick child, and we've had two council members that were unable to attend tonight, so we're working with the bare minimum to get some business done for the city of Valdosta. To start things off, I'd like to call up Pastor Dees, if she'll give us the invocation, and if you would remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance after. Thank you.
Let us pray. Creator God, we give you thanks for this day. As the cool, crisp air gives signal each morning to the changing of seasons, we give thanks for the beauty of fall all around us. From stadiums filled with football fans to the subtle change of colors on the landscape, and our days that have this crisp air that reminds us that even in the midst of change, you are constant. As these leaders gather today, we ask your presence in this place. Grant wisdom to those who govern amid conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of the city of Valdosta's people. Give each a keen thirst for justice and righteousness and peace. May everyone be engaged and involved, and may all concerns be addressed. May all have the ability to work together in harmony even if there is honest disagreement. And may all feel personal peace and comfort in their lives and joy in the work before them. May they and we always be guided by the spirit of community, by the spirit of justice, by the spirit of love. This we pray in the name of all that we hold sacred and holy, all that we hold good and right and true. This we pray in the name of the Creator. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Deeds. All righty. First on the agenda is the approval of last month's meeting minutes. Council, you've had an opportunity to review these. Are there any corrections or changes? If not, then we'll approve them by acclamation. Moving on to number 3, public hearings. We have one land use case this month. It's a consideration of an ordinance to rezone 2.63 acres from residential professional to highway commercial, as requested by Burt Batten. The property is located at 4955 Inner Perimeter Road. Planning Commission reviewed this request at their September regular meeting and recommended approval 9-0. Ms. Tolley will present.
Thank you very much. The only City Council Planning Commission planning case in front of you is a proposed rezoning. It is from a Mr. Burt Batten. It is located about 1,000 feet north of the intersection of Inner Perimeter and Highway 84. It is a part of a little over 9-acre parcel. However, the parcel split zoned highway commercial and residential professional, RP and CH. About 2.63 acres is RP. Happened as a process of subdividing and re-subdividing over the years. So the applicant is looking to rezone the 2.5 acre part of the tract to RP to hopefully house his storage business in the future. The subject property is located in a community activity center character area, is part of a largely undeveloped quadrant, and there's the parcel. And the applicant is proposing in the near future, to use it for storage purposes. Assuming the rezoning goes through, the applicant will need to submit a conditional use permit for the storage use. So assuming this is approved, in a few months you should see the CUP request in front of you. Again, the property is largely undeveloped in a largely undeveloped area. Planning Commission reviewed it at their September meeting. They unanimously sent a favorable recommendation to approve the rezoning as requested. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Tolley. This is a public hearing agenda item, so therefore it is open for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this request, if you want to come forward at this time, state your name and address.
Good evening, council members. My name is Burke Batten, address 120 Leyland Drive, Broxton, Georgia. It's in Coffee County. I am the vice president of Arising Industries. We're a family-owned business. We are a wholesale manufacturer of enclosed cargo trailers. We purchased this property in July of this year, and we are starting a new division with new products. Tracy mentioned storage. It's not just storage. What we're prototyping now is portable storage in the vein of like a pods or a pack rat type thing. So the way that we're going to be using the property is going to be as a distribution point for those pods to start with. We will potentially have static storage on there as well. Excuse me. And also corporate offices for this new venture. So there will be multiple uses that we will need to put on the conditional use, but for the most part, we're going to be retailing more products that we manufacture elsewhere at our other plants. And we're very excited about this property. This is the first step with the rezoning. Like I said, we have the conditional use, and also it is a wooded lot, so we are going through the land disturbance process as well. If there are any questions, I'm happy to ask or answer any of them.
No questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that'd like to speak in favor of this request? Anyone else? Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to speak against this request? Anyone against? Appears to be none. Council, I turn it over to you for action.
Mr. Pro Tem, I would like to request that this motion be approved by the council, please, sir. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. All righty. Next item under agenda item 4, bids, contracts, agreements. We have a consideration of a memorandum of agreement between the Valdosta Fire Department and the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. Chief Boutwell will present.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. I'm coming before you asking permission to continue a memorandum of agreement between us, Georgia Emergency Management Agency, and the Homeland Security Division. In 2008, we received a tractor trailer with equipment that covers 4 disciplines of technical rescue to be housed in the city of Valdosta, so we actually host that team that is now known as Task Force 2. Our only obligation under this memorandum of agreement is that if there's an event about weapons of mass destruction in order of the president, then it must deploy. However, as you know, over the last few years, we've deployed and assisted with natural disasters, storms being the most prevalent. In our local community, we've had the resources on site to be able to assist with trench rescue, structural collapse, as well as water tower and high angle rescues. So there's no obligation as for us except to enter into a contract. If we decided to come out of that, we wanted to come out of that, it takes a written in writing to GEMA and 30 days after that. Outside of that, this agreement takes effect or it just continues until January 31st of 2025, and it also states in there any kind of reimbursement as a participating party if we deploy outside of our local jurisdiction. I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions of Chief Boutwell? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
With that, can I get a motion from the council?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion on the motion? None being, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign for those against. Motion is unanimous. Agenda item 4B, consideration of bids for the South Fry Street Pedestrian Improvements Project. Mr. Collins will present.
Good evening. As we talked about on Tuesday, this is to choose a contractor to construct the site, South Fry Street pedestrian improvements. The scope of work consists of about 1,500 linear feet of sidewalk, curb, and gutter, piping and ditches. There'll be new retaining walls, sod, and we're going to resurface that section of the road. The 1,500 feet extends basically from Forest south to Hudson Street. We put it out for bid. We received 3 bids. The low bid was Southland Contractors in the amount of $529,286. If you add a 10% contingency for unforeseen circumstances, we're asking you tonight to approve the low bid submitted by Southland, including the 10% contingency, for a total of $582,214.60. I'll take any questions that you might have.
Ms. T, can you let us see that amount? Because all I'm seeing is, yeah, thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. Collins? If not, council, I'll turn it over to you for action.
Mr. Pro Tem,
You're on a roll tonight.
I would like to make a motion we approve this request as stated with the 10% contingency of $582,214, $582,000, correct? $214 and $60. Now everybody say yes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Thank you. All right. We now move on to agenda item 5, citizens to be heard. This portion of our meeting, we ask that if you wish to come up and speak, we ask that you state your name and address so that we may have it for the record. Our policy requires that you stay under 3 minutes, and there will be a timer that you can see, so that others may have time to be heard as well. Please direct all comments to council as a whole and do not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It is this council's policy to follow through with you on your concern. Additionally, we ask that any groups that want to address the council designate one spokesperson to represent the group in their comments. Again, this will ensure that others have time to be heard. Having said that, are there any citizens wishing to be heard? Come forward, state your name and address.
Good evening. Can I move that?
Good evening.
Thank you. Pearl Chapel, 2008 Carolyn Terrace, and I am here again, putting in my upset about your vote on changing the name of Forest Street. I feel it should be null and void. It was done not according to city ordinances. There was a minimum of 279 people who were to be informed. Only 172 signatures were gathered, and then that was the end of it. The other people were not informed. They knew nothing. There are over 56,000 people in Valdosta, and you have not done your jobs to let people know about it. All should have been informed. All 56,000, one way or another, should have been informed, and all should have had the opportunity to have their opinions known and their voices heard. I see why Mr. Davis even asked the quote, why is changing the name of a street so controversial? Yes, I kind of wonder that myself, actually, but I do feel it's political. And the last thing we need right now in our city, a city without limits, is to put limits on it and be political. And that's what the name change is doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone else wishing to be heard? Anyone else wishing to be heard? State your name and address.
My name is George Buster Rhymes, 5004 Oak Drive, Valdosta, Georgia. Mayor Pro Tem and elected officials, I've been in this community for a long time, and people often call me on issues. And they ask me, why is it that we no longer have a news network that will publish our concerns to the general public? received several calls this week, and I'm not going to get into them, but I wish other people would listen to the people in these various districts. And all I'm going to say this evening is that I went out to this call on Southeast Cypress Street, and I recorded what they was telling me about last night. A car backed into a ditch there, and that's not the first time it happened. Without going into details of what the conditions are with the water drainage and the hazardous roadway wherein it's cracking the concrete is, which could put motorists and pedestrians in danger. I could talk to you this evening about why these citizens or residents call me. It's not the first time, but I chose to film it, and I have a DVD for each of you. 5th and 6th District have one together. The mayor and city manager have one together. The rest of you have a copy, and you can review it for yourself, take a look at it, see if it's important enough. If not for the news media, see if it's important enough for you all to hear the needs of the tax-paying citizens here in Valdosta. And that's all I have to say on the issue. Sorry I had to come on behalf of someone else. They told me why they didn't want to appear, but be it as it may, some of us must be awake. We all cannot go to sleep with our children in the vehicle here in Valdosta. And I thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Rhines. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item, and that is number 6, the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Good evening, council members. We have a lot going on this weekend, and I just want to remind you of a few of those going on, but I did grab the wrong piece of paper. I grabbed what you have in front of you this evening is our responses from those citizens to be heard that spoke last evening, and a lot of that was done this week, so yeah, we forgot about emailing those to you, but that will give you an idea of how we respond when citizens are to be heard. The Valdosta Police Department and Lowndes County Sheriff's Office have announced that the city and the county will officially recognize trick-or-treating on Saturday, October 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. Within the city, there'll be additional patrolling in areas with the kids out, and from 6 to 9. So it's much more it's less chaotic when we agree to have it at one time in the county instead of the city maybe having theirs Sunday and the county having theirs Saturday. So we'll take care of all of those fun festivities from 6 to 9, October 30th. Also, we're going to have on October 28th from 5:30 to 8:30, we're going to have the City of Valdosta drive-through trick-or-treating. If you guys remember, last year was the first time we tried this because of COVID. It was extremely popular. We shut traffic down on Highway 84 over Mr. Vickers' overpass. So this year, as you know, the construction's going on the amphitheater part. So we're going to hold this one this year in Scott Park. Again, it's October 28th, and it's going to be at Scott Park 5:30 to 8:30. So please spread the word, as it was a fun event last year. Then this gets us to Saturday. We've got a ton of things happening this Saturday. We have the National Faith and Blue Community Fun Day. It's going to be from 10 to 2 in Scott Park. Scott Park seems to be the happening place these days, so we'll have that. It's our own police department, VSU, and just many other community sponsors coming together to sponsor this fun time. We'll be talking with young folks. We'll be walking around. There'll be basketball, kickball, bounce houses. We'll talk about subjects such as alcohol abuse, things of that nature. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good time. So again, 10 to 2, Scott Park. Then also downtown, we'll have the Makers Market, and that will be from 9 a.m. to 1. At this Makers Market, the Valdosta Fire Department will be out there with Sparky the fire dog and fire prevention team talking to residents about fire safety, as October, I believe, is Fire Prevention Month. Also, the Valdosta Fire Department will also be at the Latino Expo at the library on Julia Drive from 11 to 4 on Saturday, handing out, again, information on fire prevention and fire safety. Also, Walls Watershed, along with the city and the county, will be hosting a river cleanup from 9 to 11. The city cleanup sites are VSU Drexel Park at 1 Mile Branch, at Lee Street 1 Mile Branch, and they're still looking for volunteers to participate Saturday in the river cleanup. Last but not least, at 3 p.m. at Georgia Beer Company, we'll have the Valdosta Lounge Cornhole Tournament, where we're going to have some city officials and county officials in a tournament with cornhole, and then that's to raise funds for our City of Valdosta First Responder Fund. So a good time should be had by all, and so I invite you to take part in those festivities. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have this evening.
Mr. Barber?
Yes, sir.
In regards to the cornhole shoot-off, are we taking bets, and that's how we're going to raise the money? I mean, how is this funding going to work?
You're going to make large donations as you wander around the campus of Georgia Beer Company before you have to play on your side of the tournament. Is my understanding. Is that correct?
In other words, you got to pay to play?
No, you don't pay to play. It's just simply we're going to have donation buckets. You'll basically donate money to the team that you think is going to win the tournament. And so we'll have that donation bucket set up among the teams. We also, we're going to get some of the proceeds will come from Georgia Beer. They're going to donate money to the fund as well. And then there's going to be a food truck on hand that's going to give some proceeds of what they make as well to the foundation. So that's how it's all going to come together that day. So hopefully, with everybody, live music at 6 o'clock, all that stuff going on, that we can generate enough money to help these people out, help this fund out.
And my understanding that
Is that it starts at 3, and we're hoping it's going to probably be done about 6 when the live music kicks off.
And my understanding is that you and Councilman Howard, also known as the Dynamic Duo, are going to be competing against Chairman Slaughter and one commissioner?
We'll have 4 police officers going to be on hand, 2 firemen are going to be on hand, competing against...
You'd expecting trouble in a fire or something?
Yeah, we're going to be on fire. But then you're going to have Chairman Slaughter's going to be there, Paige Dukes to send us someone in her place. Mark's going to try to somehow split itself 4 ways with all everything that's going on, but if not, I think Richard's coming, I believe, to play that place. So we're going to, and Mayor may not be able to be there because of the situation that he's in right now as far as his daughter being sick. But we're going to have a lot of different people, and so it might be one of those things where I told Eric, we may have a few citizens, bystanders to stand around and field maybe 2 or 3 teams, just so we can have a good amount of people. We're going to have 5 boards, so just so we're just going to have fun. We're going to let people get involved too. If they want to throw, get involved, have fun. It's just all it is about raising money.
Well, I'll get with y'all separately to make my contribution to the cause. While I had planned on attending, even though you invited me out of this tournament, apparently at the last meeting, my wife reminded me that Saturday is my anniversary, and I will be at home with her. So I'm going to be a good husband, and I'm going to be at home with my wife. So I want to cheer you on. Pardon?
You could take her to the food truck.
Yeah, I offered that, and she said no.
Big expenditure.
But I want to cheer y'all on, and I do want to contribute, so I'll get with y'all to get a contribution to go into the bucket.
Any other questions?
October the 30th, that's going to be at the Civic Center where the trick-or-treat that's combined with the county.
Now, that's Sheriff Park's event. That he'll do that, but trick-or-treat that night will be October for the trick-or-treating from door to door. Yes, that will be the 30th.
When's our Scott Park? I think
Our Scott Park is the 28th from 5:30 to 8:30. and we expect a lot of participation if it was anything like last year. Any more questions?
Thank you, Mr. Barber.
All right, Councilman Miller Cody, excited about our Fire Street project that we passed tonight.
I'm happy, so I don't have anything to say, but thank you to everyone for working about it. Thank you, Mr. Pat, for working with me. You know, I was kind of sweet all the time, but really thank you so much for everything.
Is that your council comments, or do you need more time?
I don't need any more time.
Does any other members of council need to make comments? Go ahead, Councilman Howard.
Mark, I just have one question. Well, one comment I like, the young lady that came up speaking about the street name change, I'd like you guys to go over there with her, let her know how that process works, so she won't think that the city has done anything wrong. And Mr. Ryan, I understand that the person that contacted you, and I'm glad you brought that concern up, but if they don't feel comfortable coming to the city, they can use C-click fix, and they can report that issue, because we don't want anyone to feel that they're left out. But those are the ones who do that.
Anyone else? I do have just a real quick comment. This has been a busy week as Mayor Pro Tem with the mayor out, but it's been fun. Got to spend a lot of time with the fire department this week to honor Fire Prevention Week. But today was very special. We went to Pineville Elementary, and which is a gorgeous building. That campus is just drop-dead gorgeous. And got to judge the decorations of the doors for Fire Prevention Week by second, third, and fourth grade classes, I believe it was. And there's some creative people out there. It was tough making a decision. I'm glad I wasn't the one guy that had to make the decision by himself. It was a team approach. But the kids out there, the teachers out there, and the staff just so welcoming and did such a great job. It was fun, and I want to thank Vanessa and for bringing all the cupcakes for all the winners. I had to leave, so I don't know if maybe you and Chief and y'all ate some of those cupcakes. They did look good, but I'm sure that the kids and the teachers appreciated it. But thank you all for a good day. Is there anything else? If not, if I can get a second? Second. We are adjourned.